Welcome to the channel. I'm Dr. JWAU. We're looking at Covert Female Narcissism, episode 18. When her warmth became the reward and her distance became the punishment. And love should not turn warmth into a reward system. At first, the changes felt small, almost unnoticeable. You simply started paying more attention to what kept the atmosphere calm. What avoided tension, what brought the warmth back faster. So naturally you adjusted. You softened certain questions. You delayed conversations in a certain way. You learned which subjects tightened the room before words even were finished. And slowly the nervous system began learning something dangerous. Connection felt safer when you stopped challenging the atmosphere. The fork touches the plate softer than before. The room grows quieter after simple questions. You hear yourself answering more carefully. And agreement feels calming. Honesty feels risky. And that is how the conditioning deepens, not through obvious domination, through something quieter. Warmth after compliance. Distance after disruption. And at first it barely feels intentional. A colder tone, a delayed response, a silence that lasts long enough for your body to start reviewing itself internally, and eventually you begin noticing something disturbing. Her warmth returns faster when the atmosphere stays emotionally comfortable for her, but not for you. And that changes the relationship psychologically, because now connection no longer feels stable, it feels conditional. Conditioned to timing, conditioned to emotional management, conditioned to how carefully you carry your own reality inside the room. Love should not make your body feel safer when you stay silent, but slowly it does. And over time, your nervous system starts adapting around the reward itself. You stop asking, what is true? And start asking, what keeps the warmth from disappearing again? And that is the classic covert female narcissism abuse captivity that has majorities of men across the nation and the world. Because eventually the emotional withdrawal becomes more painful than the self-suppression required to prevent it. So you adjust again. You minimize concerns faster. You explain your discomfort less. You emotionally absorb tension before it reaches her. And somewhere inside all that adaptation, you slowly start disappearing beneath emotional management. Not dramatically, quietly. The frightening part is how invisible this becomes from the outside, because no explicit threats exist. No obvious rules are spoken. And yet, your body slowly starts living as though emotional connection could vanish the moment atmosphere becomes too difficult. And that is existential conditioning. Because eventually her distance no longer feels like emotional space. It feels like punishment. Punishment for tension, punishment for honesty, punishment for disrupting emotional comfort. And over time, the nervous system becomes trapped between fear of emotional withdrawal, hope for restored warmth, exhaustion from constant emotional monitoring, and terror of losing connection completely. And that contradiction slowly eats you away internally, because every return of warmth temporarily stops the emotional starvation. Your body relaxes, hope returns, the room softens again. And just when your clarity begins recognizing the pattern fully, the affection returns strongly enough to emotionally pull you back inside the covert female narcissistic abuse cycle again. Viewers, love should not make emotional relief feel like salvation, but eventually it does. And that is the catastrophic part. Not simply that the relationship hurts, but that your nervous system starts bonding itself to the same atmosphere, emotionally training you to abandon yourself. And eventually you realize something devastating. You are no longer protecting the relationship because it feels healthy. You are protecting access to the warmth because losing it now feels emotionally unbearable, catastrophic. And somewhere inside all that adaptation, the fear of losing her, the covert female narcissist, and her warmth, despite the abuse, quietly became stronger than the fear of losing yourself. I'm Dr. JW. Like, subscribe, comment to educate me, share to help somebody else, press the bell if you like the content, and I will see you in the next episode, 19, when you started doubting what your body already knew. Bye for now.